Welcome to the Tuesday Review. I'm Nathan, as always, joined by Callum, Alum, and James in the studio. How you going, guys?
Not bad.
Not bad.
No bad.
Very good. Not bad. All right. So tonight we've got
episode title.
not bad. Yeah, not bad. It's okay. Not bad.
Not bad. Good choice.
Good choice. We got a couple movies to talk about today. We recently rewatched. Well, me, Callum, and Alum recently rewatched Scream 5 in anticipation for Scream 6, which we went to see, which was a good time.
It was.
So we'll talk about Scream 5. I don't think we've talked about it on the show yet. Anyway, no. Because at the time only I had watched it. But so Scream 5 was basically a reboot sequel, or as they
Scream
referred
5
to
was
it,
the one that came out like 2-3 years ago.
Yeah, 2021, I believe.
Okay.
But as they referred to it in the movie, a reboot cool.
Yeah.
To use the common vernacular.
Yeah.
Because, of course, Scream's all about the rules.
Yes,
The
'cause
meta.
Scream's all about
The
the kind
meta.
of... Yeah, for audience who don't even know, Scream movies have always been about, like, horror movies. And
Meta
it's a
commentary.
meta commentary on horror and slasher
horror
films
movie
and-
about horror movie
Yeah.
convention
Yeah.
and tropes.
Which, of course, you know, like, we're in the era of the reboot calls, which, of course, Scream would thrive in, right? You'd imagine. Like, it's the movie to have a reboot call. 'cause
Yeah, well, I
it's-
remember when 4 came out, which was like 2010, 11, 12, something like that. And I remember that one was like, oh, they're making fun of all these new reboot, and 10 years later, then they do it again. It's because it's just that's
Yeah.
how Hollywood keeps doing it.
Yeah. But 5 ends up being a fun movie because it leans into that kind of, you know, winking at the audience. It's a reboot call. It's a nudge, nudge, wink, wink kind of movie.
Not a comedy, but...
Not a
you
comedy,
know,
but there's humor in the fact that it knows what it is.
It's-
Yeah, it knows that the people who are invested in the franchise are also aware of these tropes, so it doesn't condescend, if you know what I mean. It's very much like, we know it's a reboot call, so we're gonna do all the things that you know we're gonna do, and we're gonna, you know, have a good time doing it.
It's
Yeah,
a
and it
wink- it's a
explains
wink,
it
wink.
as it's happening.
Yeah.
Wink,
Yeah.
wink.
Yeah.
Scream has always been wink, wink, nudge,
Yeah.
nudge.
They also do work to subvert some expectations.
Yeah, that's right.
Like the good thing I like about the Scream movies is, like, we were talking about this with Alan the other day when we were discussing it off there. That Scream is good because it's not like when there's a horror movie and there's supernatural elements, it kind of just, it doesn't remove agency, but it gives the writers a lot more freedom to be like, I do this because
Ghosts.
Because
I was possessed.
Yeah, exactly. Where Scream is a more conventional slasher in which, like, you have to uncover who
It's
the
just a
killer
guy,
is.
yeah.
It's just a guy, but it's one of the cast as well. It's a whodunit
There's a
as well as a
whodunit,
slasher.
yeah.
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 And like there is logic that needs to be followed, I guess, in the real world, with which you can call that
if
otherwise.
one of the group of teen friends is the killer, then he can't just appear.
Yeah,
And if he does appear,
Yeah,
then
he
there's a
can't be
reason
somebody-
for it. Yeah.
yeah, where it's not like, you know, you're 70 kilometers away and you just rock up because you're the demon.
Yeah,
You know, you can
exactly,
just
yeah.
teleport. So that I appreciate that, because I was initially expecting. I haven't watched any of the Scream movies before.
Okay, yeah.
Um,
I've only
the-
seen the first
Yeah,
one.
the only thing I know about Scream is Scary Movie. 'Cause
Yeah.
it's-
Yeah.
If you like, I saw Scary Movie so many times, and before I watched Scream. So when I watched the first Scream, I was kind of like,
This isn't funny at all.
no, it's just like Scream 1 is just like, oh, they already kind of take the piss. So a Scary Movie was just turning it to 11.
And so I actually thought it may have some supernatural elements, and that might be the explanation. But once I found out it was more of
It's a
horror
whodunit
thriller-
slasher, yeah.
thriller kind of film. I was like, you know, I'm more about this.
Yeah.
Well, it's interesting, right? Because horror movies are really popular, but what's really popular at the moment is like the supernatural stuff, and it's been that way for years, right? The
It's always,
Conjuring, The Nun,
Yeah,
all that
paranormal
stuff.
activity.
We got
but,
our main man Russell Crowe being a
Oh,
war
yeah.
priest. And
Oh no, low-key looking forward to it.
yeah, no, we're looking forward to that. He's like,
No, thank you.
but it's
you buy
nice.
the bread. You know?
But it's nice. It's nice to see the like X Pearl, for example. It's nice to see slashers making a small comeback.
Yeah.
Not that they went anywhere.
No, they've always been around. It's just,
but it's like
I don't like at the end when it's revealed. Like, what's one of my problems with what's that movie with Ethan Hawke and he watches this?
The Black Phone?
No, where he watches
Oh,
the
Sinister?
Yeah.
Sinister.
Oh.
I really like that movie, and then the end is just like because there's a ghost monster
Yeah,
guy,
yeah.
and I'm like,
Yeah,
boring.
it ruins it. It ruins
Yeah, yeah,
like
yeah.
yeah.
I'm even though I love supernatural, I love fantasy, all that aspect.
Yeah, they ruined
I love-
Halloween in this way too.
Yeah, I love when it's just
Yeah.
like, oh, he's just a killer. Like,
Yeah.
he's just
Yeah, they-
crazy, you know, I
and
like that.
Like they turned Halloween from like an old school classic slasher into
Yeah.
now it's a supernatural kind of basically.
yeah, he
Yeah.
can't. I mean,
He
there's
can't
always
die by
it
a
did-
natural means.
It did
kind
kind
of
of hint.
situation.
It did kind of hint in that direction originally when he disappears at the end, but that was more of a ooh people
That was-
kind of thing.
yeah.
More than a now he's some type of,
Yeah.
godlike entity that just wants to
Demon,
kill
yeah.
people.
Because I think, especially for these things, looking at how evil a human being can be.
That's why
you know,
that's
it's what adds
it's fascinating.
To, yeah,
that's
it's
why
fascinating.
that's why I like true crime. It's just like why was someone
Yeah.
driven to do these
Yeah.
things?
I,
you
I
know?
was like,
It's like, who killed all the people? Ghost did.
That's
Yeah,
why
it's
like,
a person.
like Ted Bundy is scarier than all
Yeah.
the Freddy Kruegers
That's
and
right. It's
Jason
like,
Voorhees.
In Cold Blood is considered one of the greatest classics of all time.
Yeah.
Because not only does it discuss evil, but it also kind of looks at the people involved, the criminals involved in
yeah.
their history.
interviews the killers, and it's just like,
And it's,
why?
like I said, it's so provocative, but it's also so thought provoking.
Yeah.
Like it makes you ask the tough questions, like in Cold Blood style, right?
Mm.
It's like what happened to these young men that led them to this place,
Mm.
but it also looks at how the justice system handles it and blah blah blah.
Mm.
I mean,
And how the media-
slashes of course don't go that deep.
No, that's different.
It's not their job to go
yeah,
that deep.
but
This was our segue to say, please give us Mindhunter back, please.
oh,
We're begging you,
God,
please.
please.
I'll give you
That's
anything.
but yeah, like it's good to have like a horror movie where it's like it's mystery as well. You know, it's not like obviously there's
Yeah.
mystery in the supernatural stuff, but it's like it's that human element
Yeah.
Alan was saying that is kind of missing now. I feel.
Mm.
But 6, you know, it follows. We'll say what they call the core 4 from Scream 5.
Now, 6 is the new one
6
that
is the
just
new
came
one. So
out.
5 is 6 is a direct sequel to 5.
yeah,
Where it follows the same core group of characters as they
Yeah.
move on to New York
Move
for
on to
education.
college.
that's right. So
Yeah,
five
college.
establishes the new core set of characters,
Mm.
and 6 tracks their journey after 5.
Yeah, and New York City was it's a great city for
Oh,
crime.
Yeah.
You know,
Like,
you got alleyways, you got all that kind of.
Like I said, I've only seen the first one, and I plan to watch all the Scream movies this Halloween.
Or you could
But-
watch them. You could watch them in April, like me. I'm doing the horror in April.
Oh, we'll talk
thing.
about that. Yeah. But I was gonna say, because this is the first one set in New York. Usually it's in like a small town or
Woodsboro
somewhere.
is like the main sort of town
Yeah.
city.
And I'm like, New York's just a great crime
Yeah.
place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So to have
It's
us
so
like
dark and
when I
mysterious.
saw the bit in the teaser trailer, or whatever, where he's like standing on the subway train,
Yeah.
I'm like, that's so cool.
Yeah, and like the
Yeah.
movie takes place over like Halloween, kind of.
Okay.
So like there's
Yeah.
a couple of scenes like the train scene.
Where
It's
they're in-
Halloween and like everyone's dressed up in all
oh,
different.
so it's not unusual that he's standing
yeah. And
there.
because
Ah.
because the movie Stab franchise exists in Scream, which is
Oh,
like
yeah.
there's lots
a
of different
fictionalized
people.
version of the Scream events that happen in Scream
So
1.
everyone wears the mask.
Yeah, so
Ah.
Ghostface exists as a fictional character within the Scream universe, as well as being the serial killer in the Scream universe.
Is there a bit where he gets lost in amongst the other mask
No,
wearing?
Well,
not in
That
that
would have
way.
been cool.
There's a scene kind of like that where there's a few
There's
ghost
multiple
faces.
Ghostfaces,
Like
yeah.
Yeah.
this one
And
of
they
the
don't
scenes
know
in the
which
movie
one's
is
the-
on the train, and
Yeah.
you've
Yeah.
got all the different people in like Halloween costumes or
Yeah.
dress up and all that kind of stuff. And there's a few different ghost faces. On
Yeah.
there, and
It's,
you're like,
that's probably one of the coolest scenes in the
yeah,
whole
That's
because
film.
cool.
there's also lots of great homages to prior horror sort of classics.
Mm.
Like you got all the other slashes and all that kind of stuff on the
Yeah.
train as well.
Yeah.
It's like lots of nice kind of horror fans will appreciate all
Yeah.
the like winks.
It's it's interesting. It's a really versatile scene. There's a scene which is set in a convenience store, which is really claustrophobic and really intense. Which is there's a really interesting scene that's set in like an apartment complex where they have to travel from one place to another.
Hmm.
And I'm like, it's like you said, New York is such an interesting place to do it because you have access to all of these, like high-rise apartments
Yeah.
and close to like brownstones close together or
Yeah,
whatever.
and
And
like steamy
the
alleyways.
steamy
and-
alleyways, yeah, exactly. And the
subway,
convenience
tunnels and-
stores and
yeah.
all that. It's awesome.
Yes. What are your thoughts on Scream 6, Alan?
Like I said, for a person who had not seen any Scream films before, I went in there with some obviously misconceptions, but I was quite pleasantly, surprised. Like it was, like I said, the fact that it was real, quote unquote, humans,
Yeah.
obsessed with the franchise, kind of trying to promote that and killing more. It was like the primary driver of the murderous intent. I quite liked it. I thought that was a good premise overall. They kept it kind of grounded for the most part. There wasn't anything I'm like, I can't believe that's some bullcrap. It's always one of those things that I guess reduces your suspension of disbelief. You know, just if there's something really, really bullcrap happening. So for the most part, I thought they were pretty good. At the end of number 6, where some people are surviving things they may not should be surviving, that was a
Yeah.
little.
That's every horror
That was
movie.
pushing
That
it.
was
Yeah,
fan
yeah.
service.
I was like,
Yeah,
you're pushing
yeah.
it. You know, he stabbed
Yeah.
17 times. I'm like, no.
yeah.
Just a flesh wound.
Yeah.
yeah.
But I thought it was great. Like, I quite enjoyed that kind of thriller horror. Who done it?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's killing it at the box office.
Yeah, look, let's.
Yeah,
I hope it does well, and I hope we
so-
get more.
Yeah, I'm surprised if horror movie franchises obviously have
They always do well.
have always
Yeah.
gone like long going, but I think recently there hasn't been as many that have like continued to go
Yeah, like
into the 2020s.
Otherwise, we've got Terrifier, and that's a different kind of
Yeah,
movie.
but like Hellraiser, like there was a new
Yeah.
one, but it was like a reboot, and it's
Oh,
just
yeah.
like.
yeah,
And there's always new movies. Like there was a new Texas Chainsaw, but Scream 6 is the only one I can think of right
but
now.
the new Texas Chainsaw didn't even come out of theaters, did it? It was Netflix.
No, it was Netflix.
Yeah, so it
But you know
doesn't-
what I mean? It's
Yeah.
just like Scream 6 is the only one where it's like a continuous. Oh, this is the 6th movie.
In the franchise.
After
yeah,
25
it's Not,
years.
there's no real hard reset. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
and it's like still seemingly popular. At least the last
Yeah.
two have been. From
Well,
what
I mean,
Then you got these
understand.
bloody films that can't stop casting Patrick Wilson as the main guy, and I'm like, wait,
Oh
wasn't he in
man,
this
I love
movie?
Patrick
No,
Wilson.
I love
but
it, but
he's
I'm
in.
like,
Yeah, he's
in
in a
all
lot
the
of
movies, all the horror movies. I'm like, wait,
Yeah.
is this the same movie? No, this was the one with the kid. No,
So look, I hope we get more movies like this, and less, maybe less movies like Megan, or kind of like. I'm not knocking
M3.
M3. I'm not knocking Blumhouse. I'm not knocking Blumhouse at all. They do wonderful work, right? Because obviously their movies have an extremely limited budget, usually. But like
That movie's doing gangbusters.
it is.
like-
But also, come on, man, just is Child's Play not enough? Do we need M3?
I don't know.
Like it's the same thing. Like we're getting like horror. I feel like horror is pivoting in the wrong direction in terms of the theaters. Because like, what's the other big one coming out at the moment? They were also doing a Five Nights at Freddy's, which I'm sure will go well with the kids.
I'm surprised they
released-
haven't done that already. It's
they
taken
released-
them this long, and it's not going to be good.
It's not going to
But
be good.
They
But
I mean,
released Winnie the
we've-
Pooh in theaters.
We've talked about it. Like there was Smile and Barbarian, like movies we liked that we saw
Yeah.
at the cinema.
oh yeah,
And
no,
we always talk about horror movies are still popular and profitable, so they still come out at the cinema.
I'll quantify it.
Black Phone was good.
Black Friday. Yeah,
Uh,
it wasn't as bad as James thinks it is. But
Look, it wasn't perfect,
it
but
wasn't
also
bad. It just wasn't.
it wasn't a
good.
slap in the face like Men.
Yeah, it wasn't insultingly bad, but it wasn't good.
I'll quantify it. I want more slashes. Damn it.
Just straightforward.
Just straightforward
yeah.
slashes. Give me more movies like Scream.
Just
and I'm
crazy.
happy
Yeah, crazy guy with a knife.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's all you need.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
Crazy guy with a knife.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what we're gonna call this.
Just call the
That's the
franchise.
episode. Crazy guy with a knife.
No, that's what the franchise should be called. Crazy Girl with a Knife 1, Crazy Girl with a Knife 2.
That's
It should go all the way up to like
that's
9.
I mean, there's the in-universe movie Stab,
Stab,
but then
yeah.
there's like that could be the competitor franchise,
Yeah.
Crazy Guy with a Knife.
Seems a bit sexist, don't you think?
Okay,
Crazy
hey,
person
Crazy
with a
Woman with a
Guy
Knife.
is
I always maintain that Guy can be.
Yeah.
Like I use guys.
I
at
call
work,
I call
you know,
the,
like
I call
it's-
the girls at work guys.
Hey
Like,
guys,
hey guys.
like it's a
yeah.
group collective.
Yeah.
Like
So,
I guess when you use it
Alright,
singular,
alright.
that
Crazy-
guy over there.
crazy,
I guess then
yeah, Crazy Folk with a Knife.
yeah.
crazy fuck. No, that doesn't sound right.
I don't make the
Yeah.
rules, James.
Crazy person. No,
Crazy
people.
Crazy people.
That's
with
what it's the
knives.
other way. Crazy broad with a knife.
No, then that's
That's
just
where we're getting bad now.
yeah.
Welcome to band.
Don't
Jam.
get us
Cancelled.
cancelled. Okay. All right, moving on. What
got-
else we got? We're gonna-
Oh well, I mean, I don't know if we should talk about it, but we saw Knock at the Cabin like 2,
a while ago. Yeah,
4 weeks ago. It was ages ago.
ages ago.
I've already forgotten it, but I'm like, since we saw it,
Yeah,
Yeah,
Thriller
look,
by M. Night Shyamalan.
I really liked it. I don't know how you. Spoiler alert for Knock at the Cabin.
no, we want to do
Keep it-
spoilers.
you wanna
It's
do
still, it's
spoilers?
still new, and like
Do
the
we
whole-
still disagree on the ending, or are
No,
we
so-
roughly on the same page?
Well, I mean, let's start
Without
at the
spoiling it.
Let's start at the beginning. I mean, you know, M. Night Shyamalan is known as the twist guy.
Yeah, famous
Um,
for his subversions.
Yeah. And, you know, he was like knocking it out of the park early in his career, and then he just kind of had this 10 years of like dodgy
Yeah.
junk, and then he kind of made a little comeback, and now he's just making smaller.
That's it. From the ashes of
Because he-
Avatar came The Visit.
Yeah,
Because he has more
like,
control over these small.
and that's the
units.
thing. Like his last 3 or 4 movies, he's like self-financed, including Knock at the Cabin. Like he's just like, I'm going to spend all these, 10, $20 million and make this little movie that I want to make, and doesn't screw the studios.
Yeah.
And they come out, and people seem to go and see him and like him enough that he keeps getting to make them. So I think that's good. He's like, even some of the movies of his I haven't liked. He's an interesting filmmaker. It's like if it's a new M. Night Shyamalan, it piques your interest, even if it might not be good.
Yeah.
At least you're like, oh,
Yeah.
okay, let's go and see
Yeah.
that. But Knock at the Cabin was one that genuinely the trailer looked interesting, and one of the reasons for that is because of Batista.
Yeah.
Because
So,
Batista,
it's so weird, isn't it?
yeah, Batista is making really interesting choices as an actor, and in the roles he takes.
It's funny because he's like the anti-John Cena. So
Yeah,
like,
or the anti-Rock.
Yeah, because like, so it's like the wrestler to actual Hollywood celebrity pipeline is one that I never anticipated as a child. I mean, don't get me wrong. Hulk Hogan was in one of the Rocky movies. I'm not going to.
No, what do you mean? Wrestler turned actor has been around since
Yeah.
wrestling
No,
began.
Like WWF Productions made Scorpion King and stuff, didn't they?
I don't know. I'm talking.
yeah,
I'm not talking
they
about.
made all the sequels.
I'm not talking
yeah.
about schlock. I'm talking about like,
Oh, to real,
yeah, good
but that's
film.
why Batista's
Yeah,
interesting because
yeah.
he's
I mean,
like he
even
wants
John
to be a
Cena's not
real
terrible,
actor.
the usual route from WWE superstar to movie is someone they
Straight to DVD
It'd be
action
like
music
Kano,
comedy.
Cena,
like
Evil
the
with
Marine
Kano.
or
Yeah.
whatever it is.
Hey,
It's like
don't you be hating.
Yeah.
I mean, I genuinely really like Steve Austin in this movie called Damage, where he's like a street fighter. It's awesome.
Oh,
but
yeah.
anyway, he just punches
Wait,
people
no,
in the
that's wrong.
chest.
I think
Um,
But my
Randy
point is that Batista came out of nowhere. He became huge in not nowhere to wrestle.
Yeah.
But like he became embodied Drax
Yeah.
in Guardians of the Galaxy, which enabled him to get his foot in the door in other productions. Famously working
Yeah,
with
but-
on the Blade Runner franchise.
Yeah,
now.
no, I loved
Yeah.
him in Blade Runner.
He was
Like,
the best. Like
Um,
we talked about it. He should have been the main character.
Yeah, and then like now, like you were saying, he has the freedom to do these really interesting roles, including Glass Onion.
Yeah.
He's getting his fingers in some really interesting pies, and
He
we're
makes
all there for it.
interesting choices, and he genuinely wants to be a good actor, and he genuinely wants to do roles that aren't usually given to wrestler turned
Yeah.
actors.
I think the biggest reason why, I could be wrong, is he can probably leave his ego at the door. Whereas
Yeah.
somebody like The Rock, it comes with him.
Yeah.
And emphasizes Jupiter. And
Look,
so
from-
it's
I don't
The
know.
Rock is a brand in of himself.
Yeah.
Like,
So like, The Rock isn't an actor; he's The Rock.
the thing is,
Yeah.
yeah,
he's
yeah.
just a stone.
There's
no negotiating.
The Rock isn't an actor;
There's no
he's a
negotiating.
Rock.
Look, we don't know. Look, again, I don't know how The Rock sort of, lived while he was a wrestler in terms of his finances or his sort of, we'll say, living a comfortable life as one of the biggest wrestlers on the planet when he was wrestling. I assume he did all right. But on the other hand, Batista, I guess, he's come out on the record as being like, no, like, I was nearly broke every day of my life until
He
I left
famously
WWE.
struggled.
The Rock struggled early on in his career, you
Yeah.
know, and especially when he was younger, like
But when he hit his peak.
But now, especially now, he's like one of
Yeah.
the biggest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like Batista's an interesting case study because he was he was successful as a wrestler in that he held championships. He was what people tuned in on TV for, but financially due to some of course, the WWE
Interesting contracts.
Yeah, the WWE is not famous for treating
Well,
their wrestlers well
yeah,
historically
yeah.
speaking. I'm sure it's better now. But also, personal dramas and stuff like that, stuff of that nature also hindered him financially.
Yeah.
But he's famous
Yeah.
for being one of the biggest guys in the world.
But regardless-
and then being
No,
broke.
but
But-
I was saying that to get to a point.
yeah, I know where you're going with this. Yeah.
So it's easy for, say, The Rock to have an ego, whereas I always have to be the good guy because he's like the rich, famous, everyone loves him kind of
Yeah.
wrestler.
Yeah.
But it's a lot harder for, say, someone in Batista. He's less likely
not
to
just
have
sell
a
out,
massive.
quote- yeah,
he's
quote
less likely to have a
unquote,
massive
sell out.
ego on his shoulders when the dude is struggling
No,
as
he
well.
was-
Like
yeah.
It was really
he lives a
interesting.
more grounded life.
It was really
Yeah.
interesting when he got the role for Drax. he was overwhelmed with happiness, not because he
Yeah.
got to be this big celebrity, but because it was a big, stable paycheck, and they told him, if you knock this out of the park, you don't have to worry anymore.
I think he also genuinely wanted to do a good job. Like
Yeah.
I remember that
It's the stakes.
yeah.
So his
the-
motivations are
I
slightly
remember-
different than the Rock's.
Yeah, I
in
remember
that
he
sense.
talked about it when he got the call that you're Drax. He like cried and then he called his acting coach and was like, "Help me, please,"
Yeah.
because this is like, and not in any like, like just because he wanted to do the
Yeah.
best
Yeah.
job
Yeah.
he could
Yeah.
do, and
So-
I think he's continuing that with all of the roles he's doing.
He's growing and being
Yeah.
becoming
that's
versatile.
also great. He's, as you said, versatile. He's doing different roles. He's able to become different characters.
Exactly.
Whereas The Rock
Yeah.
is just The Rock.
The Rock is filled.
Yeah.
The Rock. The
Rock
Rock is
plays the
probably-
damn Rock.
No, exactly,
Again,
that's
and
it.
he's
Great.
all-
Like,
He
don't
wasn't Black Adam. He was
Yeah.
The Rock.
He's
Let's-
great.
We're
He's
not
great.
singling out. We're not
No,
singling out
no,
Dwayne
no.
Johnson.
Yes,
here,
we are.
But when,
Well,
Come
no,
find
we
me.
are
no,
because
but
he's
as a
boring.
person, as
Don't
a
fight me.
person, right?
Well, even as a
we
person,
don't know.
but
We don't know him as a person, but it's easy when we'll say a figure like him. It's easy to be surrounded by yes
It's
men
just-
and be like, no, you should be the good guy all the time.
it's just bringing it back to the actors and the movies.
Let's talk about the
themselves.
steroids.
Don't
We're gonna get cancer.
Don't regardless of their backgrounds, their personality, their personal lives, regardless of that, just in terms of the movies and the acting performances, Batista is so much better
Oh,
and
yeah.
so much more interesting
Yeah.
than The Rock has ever been. When I see The Rock is in a movie, I shrug my shoulders, go, "That's The Rock in a movie," or "That's The Rock in a rock production content, whatever." But when Batista's in a movie, I'm like, "Oh, this will be interesting."
So in Knock at the Cabin, one of the best things about Batista's character is like he has this overpowering kind of intimidation going on because he's such a big guy,
Yeah.
but he's also
He's
such
just
a vulnerable
It's
character.
a very small performance from such a huge man.
But he's so vulnerable
With tattoos.
which is what differentiates
He's
him.
got tiny. Does he have tiny little?
He has tiny
he's
little
got-
glasses,
He's got the
yeah.
tiny little glasses.
love those glasses.
In, he's got the tiny little glasses in Blade Runner. Remember?
Yeah.
Does he have them again in Knock
He
at the
does,
Cabin?
yeah.
Okay, so maybe that's the key. That's
Yeah.
the key.
But it's like, he's able to bring such a vulnerability to his roles that is the mark of a good actor. Like he can embody the different.
he was also good in that Zack Snyder Netflix zombie movie that no
I
one
never
else
saw
watched.
that. Yeah.
But yeah, Knock at the Cabin, an interesting thriller from M. Night.
Yeah, so Knock at the Cabin trailer comes out. I'm like, oh, this looks interesting. It's about a gay couple who have a daughter. They go to a cabin in the woods for a holiday because that's what people in movies do. And then 4 people show up, and are like, the 3 of you have to choose which one of you dies, and the 3 of you have to kill that one person.
Yeah,
Otherwise, the world is going to end like tomorrow.
yeah,
And it's this kind of tense thriller of like, are they telling the truth? Are these just crazy people? Can we make the choice if it is true?
yeah.
And yeah, I mean,
Look, it's so. I mean, we can't really. We're not going to do spoilers because it's such an interesting film, and M. Night's movies should never be spoiled in reviews. Everyone should be able to go in there
I
and
think
anticipate the
The
subversion.
twist.
But it has a great cast.
Jonathan Groff from
Rupert Grint.
Mindhunter.
Rupert Grint, Jonathan Groff. Of course, our boy Batista,
Yeah.
who Batista bombs this role. But it's also a nice scenic location. There's not a whole lot of green screen.
It's a nice looking
know,
movie.
it's
It's
a
a very
nice
simple
looking
movie.
film,
It takes
yeah.
place basically entirely in the cabin.
It's always what we say, right? Great art comes from
Oh, yeah.
like
if
lack of resources. Necessity is the mother of invention.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, go watch it
think-
because we can't spoil. I don't want to spoil
Yeah,
it.
I think personally, watching it, I was like, it's a really tense movie. There are points
Yeah.
where I was edge of my seat and what's gonna happen, and it's escalating, and and they're kind of trying to escape and trying to figure out if it's true or not and what they should do, and that part of it I really liked. But I think the movie, because it's based on a book,
Yeah.
and the problems I had with some of the movie, especially the ending, I'm like, I don't know if I like whatever it's trying to say.
Yeah.
And then I looked it up, and the book apparently is the complete opposite, and
Yeah.
M. Night just changed everything. And
Well,
I'm like,
that's the subversion.
the cynical view of the book kind of fits in with what I wanted from the movie.
Yeah.
But M. Night was like, no, I'm going to do
Yeah,
this.
which I was gonna say, if you read the book first, you'll see where the subversions are. It's not a typical M Night
So
film.
That's the thing is Nathan and I were sitting next to each other in the cinema and like theorizing. Is like, oh, what's the twist? Is that guy actually the bad guy? You know, is this an actual? Is this true? Yeah, whatever. And then it ended. I was just like, oh, it's not a traditional M Night twist.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Callum said, it's like the twist is more like a meta thing of like, it's like a complete change of the
source material,
which doesn't factor into
as a singular movie,
as when you're watching the movie. But yeah, I appreciate. I think I remember when we reviewed Glass, and I was just like, the scenes themselves are well directed and look nice, but the movie overall, and the ending was.
Yeah.
And I think Knock at the Cabin, I think, is better, but it's still similar. I'm like, he's a good director. He makes interesting choices. The performances are good. But the movie itself, I was just kind of like...
Is it the Stephen King problem? Is it the endings that always kind of struggle a little bit?
That's part of it. That's part of it.
You need to stick the landing.
Yeah. But I think... Yeah. It's an interesting movie, especially now, like, with COVID and, like, there's these... themes of like what's going on with like QAnon and like if you get people into a bubble and get them.
My opinion is the movie is a great piece.
Radicalized.
If you go into the movie being like, okay, this movie has a lot to say on misinformation.
Yeah.
Those themes I think are really interesting and it deals with them really well.
Yeah.
Especially now. I think it doesn't. Yeah, I don't think it sticks the landing. I don't think it explores it well enough.
Definitely doesn't stick the landing.
Especially towards the end where there's just like info dump, like exposition, and I'm like, well, this is really clunky.
I think M. Night probably feels the pressure to be like, okay, I have to have something interesting in my ending, otherwise it's not an M. Night movie. It's like, just sometimes...
That's actually, I think that's been a problem with his career where he became known as the twist guy, and then so all his movies ended with this bullcrap twist, and I'm just like...
I feel like they're all good right up until the end, and it's like...
Yeah.
He either sticks to the twist or he doesn't.
I think in this case, he doesn't really do the traditional twist like we said, which is kind of not a spoiler, but kind of is. But also, like, so I was kind of happy, but because of the way the movie was going, I'm like, kind of needed the twist because
the narrative is on its own. The movie's
kind
about tension, right?
The tension's really good.
It feels like it's missing a step.
It does, yeah. Could have used another, maybe being closer to the book. But then that would have been a completely different movie to the one that I think M. Night was trying to do.
Yeah.
Or it could have used another pass on the script or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah.
Still not a terrible film, like, but not.
We all enjoyed it, I think.
Yeah, but it wasn't what we wanted from it at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Like if I enjoyed it, but like I said, it wasn't
worth it for Batista.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, keep giving our boy roles.
Yeah.
We'll be back with more right after this quick break. You are back on the Tuesday review. So we've got other movies we've been watching in our last week or so. We'll start with Callum. What have you been watching?
Yeah, so I've got an Arnie double feature lined up. So I recently watched Red Heat on 4K by Studio Canal, did you say?
The 4K was released by Studio Canal,
as well as The Running Man, also starring Arnie. So Red Heat I've seen before. It's a classic, but when I was rewatching it, I was like, it's interesting to see a movie where... While the villain is Russian, so is the hero.
Yeah, Arnie plays a Russian cop.
Yeah, so it's interesting, right? Because we, in Hollywood movies especially, we see Russians as the villain, and those pesky Ruskies and all that, and yes, go America, waving the flag, and the eagle lands on my shoulder, and I cry a single tear.
Yeah,
Russia's a great villain.
They are.
We've talked about it.
Perennial villains.
Yeah.
But it's interesting to see a film where a Russian's also the hero. Trying to wrong something that occurred in Russia.
Yeah.
And taking down just, a bland drug villain, which is fine.
Even though during the Cold War, was like, Russia villain, like, we have to fight to win, beat the communists, whatever. Like, there are a few movies, there are even movies like, is it Gorky Park? Is that what it's called?
Yes.
Where it's just like, it's Russians are the protagonists.
Yeah.
So it's just like, Hollywood wasn't purely a propaganda machine.
No, not by any means. But it's interesting to see Arnie take on the role of a heroic Russian, trying to take down a Russian villain, because normally it's so much easier to be like, he's a proud American patriot. You know what I mean? And turned into that kind of American piece. But also, his accent's terrible.
But Arnie does Arnie, and that's what, like, how we were just talking about the role. Actually, this is a good you know how The Rock just does The Rock, and it's boring.
Yeah, Arnie does Arnie, but it's
Arnie does
amazing.
Arnie,
Yeah.
but he's the most charismatic, best act. He's still the best action star ever.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true.
And even when he's playing a small town American cop, and he's got that strong Austrian accent, who cares? Like he's the
Yeah.
best.
Yeah.
He is the best.
So he's the anti-Rock.
Yeah. Also, I think Arnie is pretty good dramatic actor. There were some movies like late in his career, like in the last like 10 years. He did that zombie movie where his daughter gets bit.
Maggie?
Maggie? Yeah.
Yeah.
He's pretty good in that. I think, yeah, he's just awesome. He's the best.
Yeah. So I watched Red Heat.
Apparently a really good dude in real life.
Yeah. I mean, he's
For
good
the
too.
most part.
I mean,
Obviously,
he's
everyone has their
got some
problems,
dodgy
but,
politics,
Yeah,
but he's
yeah.
also pretty good, you know,
like, I found out recently
environmentally, and
I found out recently if you...
he calls out like bullshit when he
Yeah,
sees it.
also recently I found out he has some sort of free fitness app or newsletter, and if you stay consistent, he will like FaceTime you and be like, "Keep going, champ." And I'm like, the fact that he's like, apparently he's invested.
Yeah.
into
He takes
all-
that seriously.
He takes
yeah.
health seriously.
He's
Yeah.
strangely enough, he's also a redditor, and sometimes he just pops up in a thread and responds
yeah,
to it, and
that's awesome.
he's like a moderator for the
and also
bodybuilding
the way
subreddit.
because you know it's him because of the way he types.
Yeah.
And he says things very matter of factly, and it's very
Yeah.
sincere. I love it.
I do love the fact that he's like one of the bosses of like the bodybuilding subreddit, because of course he is. He's
Yeah.
Arnie.
Yeah.
But yeah,
It's
so
the
like
universe.
he's very good to his community, but you know who he's not good to? Russian villains in Red Heat. But
Alan's shaking his head
That's
like, why am I
segue.
here?
Callum, the king of
That's it.
segues.
It's,
I'm just
uh,
reminded of Universal Soldier where they had like a Swedish guy and a Belgian guy playing American Marines that
Yeah.
died in Vietnam, and you know,
Yeah,
just
and then they make some excuse that Van Damme is Cajun, so I guess that explains his accent. Something like that. I don't know.
which co-stars Jim Belushi as the American kind of
cop.
counterpart,
Yeah.
like the buddy cop
They
scenario.
have to team up to catch the bad guy.
And Jim Belushi's
Those-
he's such
those
a great
classic-
bent cop, you know.
Those
It's-
classic like 80s buddy cop movies that they
Yeah.
don't really make anymore.
You know,
So
especially
good.
that kind of one's a dirty cop, one's the honorable kind of, you know, do things
Yeah.
by the book kind of guy.
The Russian cop is very strict.
very
and-
straight and narrow,
yeah.
yeah. And but the Jim Belushi's Jim Belushi.
Yeah, and he goes to America for the first time, so he has to see all the what's it word when you're gluttonous when it's
He sees
the
all the-
excesses.
Yeah, the
you know,
excesses of
there's
American
a word
life.
for it that
yeah.
I'm missing.
You know, because like Russia's this strict kind of communist country
Yeah.
where every
we
you
got
know,
line up for bread.
Yeah,
yeah, and then you go to America and there's just like sins everywhere,
Yeah.
and he's just like, this is uncomfortable.
Everywhere at the buffet.
all you can eat.
But you know, of course, you know, if you're listening to the show, I'm sure you've seen Red Heat before. It's a
Yeah.
classic, but it has some great set pieces, great costume design.
The bus chase,
Yeah, classic.
lots of violence.
Yeah, it's fantastic. And then I watched The Running Man on 4K, which was it just
Yeah.
re-released or is it?
It was it was released on 4K just recently.
Yeah, and I'd never seen The Running Man before.
Oh,
based,
it's awesome.
based on Richard Bachman, not to be confused with Stephen King.
Oh yeah, they're
Um,
totally different people.
That's it. Was it called The Running Man or The Most Dangerous Game?
No, it was the Running Man. Most Dangerous Game is a different thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I always get the two confused.
Yeah, it's a
Um,
similar concept of
yeah.
the death game show.
Yeah, and The Running Man's really interesting because there's not a lot of CG. It's all very practical.
There's no CG. It's an
Yeah.
80s movie.
Yeah, it's super practical, and I love it so much.
Yeah.
I love it has the hand drawn electricity stuff that I love so much.
Yeah.
It's just
Lots of puns.
yeah, a
It's
lot of
very
those classic
one-liners.
action, like you know,
It's
like
classic Arnie action 80s
Yeah.
action movie.
yeah, like throw a guy into a freezer and be like, cool off.
Yeah.
Or you know what I mean, or whatever.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
stuff like that.
Stuff like that, yeah.
But
It
it's
was like
like,
Sub-Zero, now just Zero.
yeah. But it's like some really cool action set pieces, some really interesting action
Yeah.
choreography, some tense fight
And
scenes.
a good dose of cheese.
Yeah, like phenomenal
Yeah.
cheese. You know, it's like comes straight over Delhi.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. Like they don't make movies like this anymore because now we're so used to CG everywhere that it's
Yeah.
like even when you have
And
these.
things aren't allowed to be cheesy anymore.
Yeah, because there's like it's people just be like it's it's bland or whatever.
Yeah.
Like it not bland.
No, it's
Childish.
yeah, childish,
yeah,
exactly.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
like now it has to be the he's right behind me, isn't he? Kind of joke.
no,
just
and it has to be very. You know, we always complain about how movies all look the same. They all gray,
Yeah.
like color graded the same. It's that gray,
Yeah.
brown, blue, kind of flat.
So what's so cool about The Running Man is it's super colorful in
Yeah.
costume design, set design, just the lighting in the arenas themselves.
Yeah.
Really like flamboyant. And again, the costume design, it's kind of old school. It's like the bodysuits.
Like it's cheesy
But
80s.
the colors are nice, you know,
spandex.
like especially on the 4K disc, the
Yeah.
colors really pop.
Yeah.
The soundtrack's great, but what I love so much is there's a couple of scenes where you see the dystopian city, and it's like a matte background instead, because there's no CG, like
Yeah,
you said,
yeah.
it's the 80s, and I just love seeing matte backgrounds because they don't fade with age. It's on the disc, you know, it's captured eternally, and
Yeah.
I loved it. It was such a cool experience.
Such a
It's
great
not
movie.
it's not a super long film.
No, it's just
It's
fun
just a-
80s action movie.
Yeah.
Although
yeah.
I will say, the original book by not Stephen King
Yeah.
is much different. It's very grounded, realistic.
Yeah.
It has a very dark ending. And as much as I love the movie's completely different. It's like a very
Sci-fi kind
it's very flashy,
Yeah.
over the top movie. And I would love one day for them to do a proper adaptation of the book, but knowing how movies are now, it would be garbage.
Yeah.
And there's been a lot of movies about, like Guy on the Run, and
Yeah.
I don't think they'd do it justice, but it would be great if they could do a
Yeah.
proper adaptation.
Would
But yeah.
run.
Would run again.
Yeah.
All right. What have you got, Alan? What have you been watching?
Oh, well, we watched this together.
Yeah,
It was The Mummy.
Which one?
The 1999 with Brendan Fraser.
Oh, good.
Oh, yeah,
Because
good one.
knowing Nathan, he would
Tom
watch
Cruise.
the Tom
Hey,
Cruise
hey, hey.
one.
Look, the Tom Cruise is a special movie.
It's
alright?
a garbage movie.
Ah,
No,
you take
no.
that back.
It's
We
garbage.
watched it at the cinemas. It
It
was
was- it was-
fantastic.
It's
fantastic.
garbage. It
But-
made me sick.
But no, we watched the classic, the hero.
Yeah.
Our man, Brendan Fraser.
Nice.
It was a good time because I hadn't watched that movie in years,
Mm.
and so just picking up on.
Well,
the
Brendan
things-
Fraser's been in the zeitgeist,
Yes.
right? So,
Yeah.
So we had to do it.
scratch the
Yeah.
itch.
Yeah, so
Next up is Encino Man and Bedazzled.
very good. It was just cool just seeing an old movie that you enjoyed as a child. So definitely the CG with the Mummy has not
Hasn't aged
kept
well.
up.
But there's
But
still
the
a lot
movie,
of
the
great.
movie's fun enough.
It's fun
that-
enough.
There's
Yeah.
also a lot of because a lot of the great
It's great
sets
sets, yeah.
and there are practical effects, and so the CG is like it's not like new movies where everything is CG and it looks
Yeah.
like garbage. It's like just the
Only
the
the
Mummy.
thing-
It's
is
really just the
CG.
dude, yeah. It's
Yeah,
really-
and it's just like
Yeah.
everything else
And
is
then
like
They
once
must be
he-
getting
and then
sand
once-
out of their cracks for like weeks after.
Yeah.
yeah.
But then, like, even once the Mummy kind of, I guess,
The closer he gets
gets
to
to
the
the
human
less CG
form,
there is.
yeah.
So, like, the second half isn't necessarily as terrible as the
Yeah.
first half.
Like the classic scene of the beetle coming out of his neck and going to his mouth and he chews on it. Like that was just one of those. Even Jake remembers that scene.
That was cool.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we're just like it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen.
also when the scarab goes in the guy's like under his skin, he's
Yeah.
like, get it out, get it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Benny's on our favorite characters.
Yes.
Oh yeah,
I
you're
don't
on
like-
the wrong side of the river.
That Benny couldn't fly today. Like the fact that he had like every religious symbol. Is like,
Yeah, but he's a con man.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
and then eventually, the Star of David works out for him.
Yeah.
And then he's speaking the language of the slaves allegedly, which we're not going to get into that discussion of whether or not that is historically accurate. or
Oh,
not.
it's
But-
the Mummy. Who
Yeah,
cares if it's historically
Oh,
accurate?
yeah, some people have some concerns, but we're not
Arnold,
interested.
Arnold Vosloo, who plays the mummy, is actually from South Africa. He's not Egyptian, so
Yeah,
it doesn't
yeah,
make
it
sense
doesn't
that he
make
plays
sense.
the mummy.
But no,
It's
just,
really
just a
sensational.
fun damn movie, right?
Yeah.
You don't have to be as serious about things.
It's that classic swashbuckling action adventure that we don't get. The last one was Pirates of the Caribbean 20 years ago.
Yeah.
And maybe Dungeons and Dragons. We haven't seen it yet.
I have a prediction. I will love the new Dungeons and Dragons unconditionally if it starts out in modern day and they're playing a tabletop.
No,
The filmmakers
they're
have said
gonna-
they're
you know
not
what they're
doing
gonna do?
any meta.
They're gonna do it Jumanji,
No, it doesn't have
and
to
they're gonna
be
put the rock in
meta.
it.
No, but they're not doing any Jumanji stuff of like, oh, it's outside and inside the
So
game.
it's not the people.
all-
It's not the people from Game Night playing D&D.
And then the rock's
Oh,
gonna
that
show
would
up,
be cool.
and the rock's gonna show up and just be the rock.
Damn it!
Yeah.
Like that's another thing we're missing. You know what I mean? Like
No, but I like that they committed to that, and they're
Yeah.
like, this world is real, all the fantasy elements are real, and all the world building is real, and we're gonna commit to that. It would have been fun if there was like but
I
it's good that they committed to
Yeah.
one or the other.
Yes.
Yes.
But anyway, the Mummy.
No,
It's awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
it's-
it's a great time. It's something that you could watch as an adult. You can have some kids watching it.
Yeah.
There aren't like
Yeah, yeah.
Also-
serious scenes
No,
going
but
on.
I will say that it's one of the last movies, maybe not one of the last movies, but where it's PG-13, but it still feels kind of a bit scary.
Yeah.
Like when the guy gets his eyes sucked out and his
Yeah.
tongue cut
Yeah.
out. Yeah, like it's like kind of creepy and it's not overly violent or anything, and kids can watch it.
Yeah.
But it's the last before now. PG-13 movies are very sanitized.
Yeah.
Very clean, not scary at all.
The Mummy still has thrilling elements in it.
Mm.
And I guess I'll throw down my TV quickly. Been watching the Amazon Jack Ryan, Tom Clancy's Jack Ryan.
Yeah.
Not to be confused with Amazon's Jack Reacher. But
Is this John Krasinski?
yes, it's on its third season now.
I thought it was a third or fourth.
Third.
Okay.
So the first season was dealing with some kind of Middle Eastern terrorism plot.
Mm-hmm.
Second season was dealing a bit of Venezuelan stuff, and then something somewhere in Europe a little bit.
Okay.
And then the third season now is dealing with the Ruskies.
Of course.
Yes, and
Bringing them back.
Czech Republic. So of course they had to do mention Ukraine and everything else. But I like it because it's got that kind of weird like world's at the tip of like, war kind of thriller aspect, but it's all contained in a season. So you just like it's not like something like what's that show?
Each season is its own.
Yeah, each season has its own story that gets concluded.
Yeah.
So you're not like damn it, what's Homeland?
Yeah, Homeland.
Where like things are going
Oh,
on.
they
for, like,
stretch it out.
and then you're just like, God damn it,
And then by the end of Homeland, it's just a mess.
yeah, it's just a
Yeah,
mess.
yeah.
So
That's
the
the
first
problem.
the first season of Homeland.
That's
though,
also because Homeland was on whatever network it was on, whereas Amazon is like it's a streaming. You just get the
Yeah. You get the whole season coming out at once. You watch it nicely.
Yeah.
You get your story set up, concludes itself, and you're on your way. That's what I really really appreciate. It's it kind of scratches that itch for those kind of weird 24 Homeland kind of shows.
Yeah.
But you're not worried that it's going to end up 5 seasons and everything's ruined at the end. It's
Yeah.
just a nice.
That's the good thing about the premium
Yeah.
cable and streaming shows. It's like, okay, 10 episode seasons, 4 or 5 seasons, that's it. Instead of
got my main man Wendell Pierce, who's also Bunk in The Wire.
oh, okay, yeah.
Speaking of The Wire, unfortunately.
Oh, Lance Reddick.
Lance
Yeah.
Reddick, yeah.
John Wick comes out soon.
Rest in peace.
That made me sad.
Yeah.
That sucked.
Especially when I met his doppelganger in India when I was about to leave.
Of course you do.
I should have known. Should have known something was up.
He was also
Maybe
good in
maybe it
Resident
wasn't
Evil.
his doppelganger. Maybe he was there for some sort of spiritual.
Maybe it was. I did appreciate him as an actor.
He was great. Yeah.
Yeah.
He was good in Resident Evil on Netflix. Watch it. It's underappreciated.
I doubt that very much, but okay, Callum. Alan, can you pat?
We've had to see.
Yeah,
It's
just
right.
go, okay,
That's right.
okay.
But yeah,
They
that's-
cancelled it, so you don't have.
Well, they cancel even the good shows, so it's not like
Yeah, never forget Dark Crystal.
yeah.
And you can also watch Jack
And Cobra
Reacher.
Kai. Mm.
It's actually got a guy that's the appropriate size this time. 'Cause some people complain
Yeah.
about that. It's got Alan Richardson.
Yeah, that big
Um,
guy from Titans.
Yes. So if you're interested in more of
I've heard that's good. I've heard both Jack Ryan and Jack Reacher on Amazon are good. I haven't had time to watch
they're
them.
definitely worth watching if you're interested in that kind of genre.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's about it for me.
Awesome.
I have no other movies to talk about, but I do have TV, so I'll throw it to James and.
No,
see-
I mean, do you want to do?
yeah, I got a couple.
And then I can do movies and TV.
Yeah. All right. Well, especially while I'm here, I've got a couple of things that he's interested in too. I've finished, or I'm on like the last OVA that's part of My Hero Academia season 5.
Ooh. Very good.
So I have to watch the last OVA self-contained episode of the season.
Is it going to have like season 6?
Yeah, season 6 is what's
Okay.
finishing or finished at this point.
Okay, so it's okay.
Um,
Yeah.
And Jake, especially friend of the show, Jake has been on my back for quite a while, getting me to watch it because he wants someone to talk to. That's not Alan about it.
Yeah.
And so the OVAs are just like little self-contained sort of episodes
Yeah.
that don't relate to the larger story, right? So I finished the season story for season 5, and I have to finish the
Anime
episodes.
does that. They have like
Yeah.
the season, and then in between seasons
Filler.
they have like a little
Just
filler-
little one-offs.
Filler, yeah.
And so yes, I have to finish this OVA, and then I'm straight into season 6, where Jake assures me that stuff goes down, which I'm excited.
Things
for.
occur.
Things occur. Stuff happens.
Nice.
So that was good. I like My Hero Academia.
Is it keeping up the quality over the season?
Yeah, I'd say so. It's an interesting. I think I've talked about it on the show before briefly.
I think so. Yeah.
It's an interesting anime because it's like it's
It's the X-Men.
it's obviously it's anime. It's very Japanese, but it's also very Western in some ways. It's superheroes and kind of.
I think a lot of the anime that becomes popular in the West has at least something for people to grab onto
Yeah,
in
yeah.
terms of Western.
But it has that kind of like
'Cause
X-Men
I
vibe.
don't know.
Yeah.
I remember we talked about this once, where anime that's popular in the West isn't very popular in Japan.
I think My Hero is popular everywhere.
Yeah, this
Yeah.
is-
But
this is
but
one of those.
this might be one that's
Yeah.
like
Yeah, yeah.
everyone likes it. Okay.
Yeah,
Um,
because the main guy, All Might, his hits a United States of Smash.
yeah.
Like,
They have there's also
he's
big-
very patriotic, even though he's a Japanese.
He's like
man.
Homelander.
Yeah.
Yeah,
also
the-
for Western audiences, the main character sounds like Rick from Morty from Rick and Morty.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh,
you
gosh,
told me.
Oh gosh, what are we gonna do, mate?
Or you can watch the Japanese dub with subtitles.
No, the
No.
English dub is very good. Why would I do that?
Yeah, exactly. Actually, the English dub.
Get Jake on the phone. He'll agree with me.
As somebody who's not a weeb, the English dub is actually very nice.
English with anime, if the English dub is good, then you watch
Yeah.
English.
Yeah.
If it's live action, always go with the original,
But
sub.
Yeah,
but
definitely.
your thoughts. You're also a fan of My Hero.
No, I agree because with the quality of Funimation, and the only issue is there isn't a breadth of kind of voice actors. So it's usually like the same 8 guys or whatever that are doing all the
A
voices.
lot of anime.
Yeah.
a
But
lot
they're
of
all good
animation.
voices.
Yeah, they're all
They're
good
good voice actors,
Yeah,
that's
like
fine.
the
Yeah.
quality of voice acting has gone up dramatically since the early days. So at least you're having a good time as long as you can tolerate the fact that you're like, well, isn't this guy from the other show? But
The answer is
Even-
always
even the
Yeah.
even the Japanese voice actors are the same. Like
Yeah.
Yeah, they
you'll
use
hear,
the same.
Yeah, you'll hear the same guys. So I think it's a little more passable because since you're looking at subtitles, you're not necessarily hunting for that same person. But yeah, no. With Funimation's quality these days, I'd say a dub usually can be as good as a sub.
Yeah.
But the actual show itself, though, you were also a fan.
Yes, quite a fan. Like I said, it was very much as Jake described it was like kind of a for fun show. Like some shows you got to get really invested in, like care about the characters, like no, don't kill them, that kind of sort of thing. Whereas this is you're just having a good time overall. You watch it,
And there's not a lot
but
of...
now it is getting serious. So
Yeah, so I've got stuff to look forward to.
yes.
Also, I found there's not a lot of filler in this show as well. Usually it's kind
Yeah.
of all straightforward.
How long
Just
are the
drop-
seasons?
Oh, like, whatever, the standard
25.
25 episodes.
Oh, okay.
But
yeah.
usually there's a filler arc in between,
Yeah.
major arcs. But this kind of everything is just pushing the show forward.
Every episode just
drives
progresses
the
the
main
story.
plot,
Oh,
which
that's
I,
cool.
which I appreciate.
Yeah, yeah.
Like the same reason I tried starting rewatching Bleach, but I couldn't because I got to a filler plot that almost wanted to make me
Yeah.
just quit the show.
Yeah.
And I was like, I couldn't do it.
Yeah, read the manga.
Yeah. But, the other show I've been watching recently is Yellowstone, which I've just finished season 3
Yeah.
at this point.
Yeah.
Yes, which Alan's also a fan of Yellowstone.
I am. I'm going to start an online petition on Reddit. Bob Odenkirk is going to replace what's his name?
Kevin
Famously,
Costner.
famously Kevin
Yep.
Costner. Whenever Kevin Costner's star gets a little bit too bright, he has to drag himself down. A
Yeah,
little bit.
that's why it's like because half of season 5 is out, and then they're like still waiting for the next half of
Yeah.
season 5. Is like because Kevin
Ke-
Costner's
the-
schedule.
Kevin Costner's ego
And
got a
then-
little bit too high, and he says, "I basically." He turned around and was like, "I want to finish my work for the season in a day." And
Yeah.
they're like, "But please, Mr. Costner,
Yeah.
it's a TV. It's our biggest show, Mr.
Yeah.
He had too much
So
power over Paramount, and he's trying to use
Yeah,
it.
but now they're saying that they're gonna like end the show and then like do a spin-off sequel with Matthew McConaughey.
Come on, Kevin, please, I'm begging you, Kevin. Just play ball
Like
with
Alan was
Paramount.
saying, Bob Odenkirk pretends to be Kevin Costner in Better Call Saul, I
Yeah.
believe. So Alan,
I remember
thinks-
this. Yeah,
Alan thinks that
It
he
needs to come to
should-
fruition where they replace him, and I'm like, you see, he
That
is
would
the
be
same
funny.
guy.
That would
And
be
just-
funny.
Just never
don't mention it. Don't mention it. Just
Yeah,
replace.
yeah.
Just,
You look a little different. Did you shave? Yes. But,
That would be funny.
yeah, no. So I'm really enjoying Yellowstone as well. I feel like it's probably one of the best shows on TV right now.
Okay.
I like the whole the Western element. Also, you've discussed this on the show before. The use of horses and live animals in a safe environment,
yes.
a safe atmosphere. It's like there's no need for CG. It
And they
looks
got real
nice.
cowboys to
Real-
teach them how to cowboy and stuff. So
Yeah, like all the of the supporting cast, most of them, if they're the cowboys in the show, they're cowboys in real life.
Yeah.
So they're doing
Okay.
all the tricks. They know how it's
Yeah,
not just
it
actors
looks-
on
looks
horses
authentic.
with CG like
Yeah.
lassos do.
Yeah.
Like it's
Yeah.
It's
no
all
CG
authentic.
rope like in the Black Phone.
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. It's an authentic show.
Mm.
And the stakes grow and grow with every season. Which,
Yes.
Have you watched the 1883, 1923?
not yet. I have to look up where they were released in the timeline of. Because I know it doesn't matter, but I want to watch them in.
1883 came out first, and then 1923.
No, but when they were released in the timeline of the show as well. Because I know they're not related, but I like to watch them in chronological airing order.
Oh, in between the
Yeah.
between the seasons of Yellowstone.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay. You want to do that?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
yeah, it's good. Hopefully, season 4 will continue to be excellent.
I'm sure it'd be fine.
Like I said, as a landowner myself, you know. as
Well,
a
you've
man,
seen Alan's seen
with-
season 4.
I think
Season
I've
4's
seen
been
the 4.
out.
I've seen the first episode of season 4, so if it
I'm up to
continues.
date.
Yeah, no,
I'm
because
waiting
season
for
5 is half of season 5 is
Yeah.
out. So yeah,
As a man with some land in the old country, you know, it kind of hits home when they try and take his land. Except
should we wait for the Yellowstone Indian Bollywood remake and then watch both back to back like we did,
that'd
talked
be
about last
that,
week?
that would be amazing.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, I don't think it'll happen. There's far too much
Indian Kevin Costner.
raunchiness in the, you know.
Yeah. Also, you can't herd cows in India.
No, yeah, there's no.
It would have
there's
to
no
be
cattle farming.
It would have
for,
to be
for
what,
beef production.
goats or
Maybe
sheep
lamb?
or
Lamb?
You can
Yeah.
just
Lamb or
lamb.
goats?
Yeah.
it'd be-
Okay, so you just like two shepherds. They're like sheep.
warring
Get
shepherds.
some guns out and stuff.
Yeah. I would watch that show. The war. Yeah.
I haven't got too much else on my plate recently, but yes, off over to you, James.
Well, yeah, I've been spending the last couple of months almost exclusively watching movies from 2022, trying to catch up and like just get a whole broad, you know,
View.
watch everything, and then like I think I've got a top 5 or a top 10, but I'm still like I still got about 20 movies from 2022 to watch, which probably. By the time I get through, I was hoping to be done by end of March, but probably sometime in April, I'll probably finish all those. I don't think I'll do this again next year because it's just taking up all my time. Like I'm only watching.
Prioritize.
Yeah, but I think you know, it's something I wanted to do because there were so many movies that
Yeah.
came out last year that I really wanted to watch and just didn't get a chance to. And then once I started watching those, I was just like finding out about other ones, and I was kind of like, curious about other, and then it just kind of snowballed.
It's a trap, James.
Yeah. And so now I'm like giving it till April. I'm like, get all those done. And then
Yeah.
after that, I've got piles and piles and piles of Blu-rays and 4Ks.
Well, we should do a show about it.
No, yeah, that's kind of what my plan was, is like once I get through all those, I'll do like a top. I probably won't go through all of them because it'll be like 100 or more films, but I'll do like a top 5, top 10
Yeah, that'd be
honorable
interesting.
mentions or something. But yeah, then I'll give it another month, and then after that, I'm like just gonna start going through my piles and piles of
That's what I'm
Blu-rays
doing. It's
and
the best way to
4Ks.
live, man.
yeah. And I think I've kind of stopped watching TV, even though there's just too many shows, and there are shows I was watching that I'm just like,
Mhm.
it's too much of a time
in the
investment,
same
and there's
boat.
too many.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of not. Yeah, like there are shows I'm gonna watch, like Succession starts soon.
Yeah.
I'll definitely
I'm in
be on
exactly
board
the
with
same
that.
boat.
But
I'm just watching my Blu-rays.
yeah, but yeah, I haven't been watching a lot of TV. However, having said that, Nathan, did you finish Poker Face?
Not yet.
Okay, yeah, because that was a good show.
I watched the first episode. That's what you will like, Poker Face. Alan.
Oh, you
Right?
only
Really?
watched.
I watched the first episode.
Oh, you only watched first.
What's
Okay.
Poker Face about?
It's a whodunit, essentially.
Ooh,
It's Natasha Lyonne
Brian-
plays casino worker turned, I guess, sleuth. Who
Yeah.
She has the
Ability.
ability to know when people are lying.
Ooh.
And
Like, is it supernatural ability or is it like lie to me ability?
It's like a cross.
We see
It's
the
a-
guy
It's
twitching.
like
and
an intuition. Like she just kind of.
it's not. That's not important.
Yeah.
It's kind of just like
But like, is it like very, very accurate? That's
Essentially.
She's always accurate.
Imagine it's an anime.
But there's no supernatural
Yeah,
element
yeah.
to the show. It's
Yeah.
just she's
She's
if
very,
you
very
say
good,
if you
yeah.
lie, she's like, that's a lie.
It's like
Yeah.
anime logic.
Yeah.
like
it's
she can just
it's that
tell.
tiny little bit of magic, we'll say,
Yeah.
like the fact that she's never wrong about knowing when someone's lying, but the rest of it's grounded in reality.
Excellent.
And it's
Yeah.
what we're talking about before. It's like a whodunit.
And
kind of-
each week is a different murder, and she like gets wrapped up in it.
But it's like
Um,
adult oriented, you know. It's not like kind of G, like it's not like a classic Agatha Christie Poirot kind
No,
of thing.
but it's also not heavy. It's a very
No, it's not-
entertaining
yeah,
show.
yeah.
It's not a true crime, dark mindhunter
Yeah.
violence. It's just like she stumbles across, befriends someone, and then
Yeah,
something happens to them, and then
I don't know if we talked about it on or off the air, but Rian Johnson's in his whodunit phase, and I'm all here for
Oh,
it.
Ryan Johnson. Yeah,
Ryan Johnson.
yeah. No,
Otherwise known as the man who murdered Star Wars.
yeah, he's who done it. Who done it? He did it to Star Wars. Yeah, everything other than Star Wars, he's great at.
Yeah, we
This
love
is
it.
what makes me crazy.
I'm sorry to bring that
But
up.
while
But
he's in his
anyway, yeah.
whodunit phase, I'm here for it.
Oh, it's so good.
But yeah, Poker Face is really great. Natasha Lyonne, she's awesome. I love, every episode was fun and like in a different state and in a different murder and a different way to solve it and different guest star. And I think it's already been renewed for season 2, if I'm not
I
mistaken.
think it has, yeah.
So
Give
I'm
him all the
looking
money.
forward to
Give
that.
him all the seasons he wants. Just let
Yeah.
him make interesting stuff.
Also, really quickly, have you guys watched The Last of Us?
I have like 2 episodes to go or something like that.
I'll
Okay.
be honest, that doesn't.
Yeah.
Look, I'm watching it with my mum, who's really enjoying it. But having seen the game, there's limited enjoyment for me in the show.
Yeah, that's what I found. I think it's definitely probably the best live action video game adaptation,
Yeah,
but I think it's too rushed. It's only 9 episodes. They get through a lot quickly.
yeah,
I think there's not enough infected. It's almost
that's
an
true.
afterthought in the show, which I think
Yeah.
is disappointing. I like some of the stuff they changed or added for the show, but otherwise, most of the show I think is just strongest when it's just like stick to the game story, because the
Yeah.
game has one of the best stories
Yeah.
in gaming history. So if you just stick to that, I think it's fine. Pedro Pascal is so good.
If you I would say, look, if you've played the game before, you're
It's
not
a
going to
good
get
show.
as much
Like,
out of it.
Yeah, but I enjoy like watching how
Yeah.
they do it and how
Yeah.
things they change and little backstories they add. But I think there are like parts of it where I was just like, it feels a bit rushed, and they're spending too much time on this when they should just be spending time on Ellie and Joel's relationship. And they're completely ignoring the fact that infected are out there, and like that seems to be an oversight. But
Yeah, I would agree.
yeah, but otherwise, it's really good. I'll be really interested to see how they adapt the second game. 'Cause-
And how many people lose their minds
Oh,
over
yeah.
it, like they did with the second game.
yeah, oh man, especially for
Well-
people who haven't played the games and are just experiencing the story for the first time with the show.
I think the show will be fine. It's people who don't like the game are probably going to react
but
very negatively.
There's
to
also
season
there's
2
also
as well.
going to be it'll be interesting, to see just TV watchers who have no idea what happens going like, oh my god, I can't believe they did this. Even if it's not a negative like this sucks.
yeah.
It'll be
It's going to be really interesting to see a certain part of the video game crowd that really hated this game.
There's also
There's that element
but
of it,
there's that element with the first season where they're like, this sucks, like they're already.
Yeah, but also, I feel like when it's translated to TV, a lot of these complaints are going to be benign. Like, I feel like
Yeah.
the complaints were bullcrap anyway,
Yeah.
right? But it's just going to be really interesting to see people trying to attack it again when it's a different medium and it'll work possibly better in TV medium if they do it right than the game.
Oh, they're already setting stuff up for the
Yeah.
second story in the first season of the show, which they didn't really do in the first game because they didn't. So I think they're definitely hinting towards that, and they're setting up the groundwork. So it'll definitely work out.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, yeah.
Did you have anything else? Or
No, that's it.
all good?
Um,
That's all the time we have for tonight. Thank you for joining me, boys. We'll be back next week with more.
thank you for joining us.
Oh, thank you for joining us. Oh, there you go. Yeah.
No, thank you. You said that. You said.
Oh, thank you for. I said thank you for joining me.
Yeah, no, but you were saying that to us, and I was just like, "Thank you for joining
I don't
us."
know.
Like, why
I
are you
don't
saying
know.
that to
Maybe
us?
I'm losing my mind.
Yeah.
Anyway, thanks for listening.
Yeah,
everybody.
and to the listeners, thank you for
thank
joining
you.
us.
That's it. Alan was like, "Let's sing it with these fools." Thanks for listening, everybody. Please like and share the Tuesday Review Facebook page, Instagram, and Twitter at Tuesday
Yeah, maybe
Review
not the Twitter.
I'm going to mention it while we still have it.
Yeah,
Until we get asked to
I
pay.
might see if I delete mine. It's like Nathan still has access. Maybe I'll just delete mine, and Nathan can just deal with the. We'll
You just
talk
got to
about it.
lean into the toxicity like me.
Oh, God.
We'll just start fighting on Twitter. Lean into the toxic.
Yeah, we'll turn this into a real. Yeah.
We'll be back next week. Adios, cousins.